It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
There it is.
Vibe achieved.
That's
Vibe
the one.
achievement unlocked. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode 87 of Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
and usually with us. First episode I think he's missed.
Very first.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
I've never missed an episode.
Well, goody two-shoes.
Someone loves this podcast more than other two people on this podcast.
Well, we'll see.
Riley Bray is not with us today, but instead, we are here with our stand-in host,
Ryan Couchhouse.
and I just knocked a microphone off the table.
That was awesome.
Ryan, thanks for having us in your home that I'm already destroying and filling in for Riley. Now, Riley will play music and add in music later during our story of high strangeness. So don't worry, he's still here in spirit. But thank you, Ryan, for having us here in your home. Okay, guys, before we bring in our guest, it's October. It's
Yeah.
October now. This is happening when October's new. And Samhain is upon us, and 'tis the season to be spooky. So to celebrate all month long, we will be doing stories of high strangeness that are inspired by Halloween. So ghosts, jack-o'-lanterns,
Spirits, orbs,
spirits, yes.
demons.
Cool. Vampires, werewolves, everything.
Mummies. No,
Yeah,
we're not doing
mummies.
any mummy stuff.
Everything's on the table. And if you, the listener at home, have any really scary stories, especially if they involve Halloween or creatures one would associate with this holiday,
Sure.
we want to hear them. Record a voice memo on your phone. I'm not kidding. We want to hear them. Don't email us. Email us. Just don't write it. Record a voice memo, then email it to BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com and label it Halloween Story. And we'll play your stories on a special Halloween L-Files at the end of the month.
Lucky you.
It might be a full L-Files episode. It might just be like our Halloween episode. We haven't gone that far yet. We're flying by the seat of our pants.
Dude, your hands are flying by the seat of their pants.
I like to use my hands when I
Yeah,
talk.
I love it.
It's
I've been
just that
enjoying
you're
it.
not usually sitting so close to me, and it doesn't get in your personal space. All right, guys. So here to kick off this month-long celebration is an amazing guest. She is an actor, writer, improv comedian, and voiceover artist, and a singer. You may know her from Comedy Bang Bang, Party Over Here, DC Superhero Girls, or as the voice of April O'Neil in Turtles Take Time and Space. I was very excited about that. She's the co-host of the podcast Off Book, the improvised musical podcast on Earwolf. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Jessica McKenna.
Whoa. Thank you so
Yay.
much.
Jess,
Whoa.
boy, that was a long walk to get you in here.
I
but
really
here
loved
you are.
it. Oh man. Yeah, just one short turtle short. One short turtle short.
Yeah, but
but
you got to play April O'Neil.
I know.
That's
amazing.
legendary.
huge.
Is it a
She's
short?
the best.
How short is it?
Yeah, this was like before the relaunch of the series.
Right.
Nick made several shorts. I
Oh,
feel like
cool.
in like a what's the deal?
Testing out.
What's going to be Turtle? So
Okay.
I'm like April O'Neil in one of those.
You've
but
got
it was-
an April O'Neil vibe about you.
Thank you.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
wearing a yellow jumpsuit.
I mean,
You brought in an 80s VHS camera.
And a
What can
bow
I
staff.
say?
That's really
and
cool.
you have a tank full of 4 tiny turtles. Not in inches.
Other than that,
disappointingly. Yeah. How are you, Jess?
I'm great.
You just came off the road for your podcast.
yeah,
Off book.
just was gone a little bit, and just getting back into the swing.
Yeah.
How many days do you normally take to get back into the swing?
Oh, let me tell you, we came
I'm
off.
still getting in the swing.
Yeah, we were just we did a weekend away in Salt Lake City, and I've been wrecked for 2 weeks. I'm
Yeah.
not back in the swing at all.
Because you missed your own bed because you partied too hard?
I didn't party that hard in Salt Lake, actually. Also, Bryce ignored us the entire time.
I don't drink. I went to bed early.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But I felt like, and this is okay, that you needed a little personal weekend.
Hey, well, listen, when I'm out, when I go out of town, I
Because
want
we
a
hung
little.
out a lot together at Contact in the Desert. This weekend, Bryce was kind of sitting by himself.
No, I was. I listen. When I
I
go out
have
of
the video to
town,
prove it, and I posted it on the podcast.
I need a
on the
little lone
Instagram.
wolf time. Sometimes when I'm in a new
Yeah.
city, I want to like do a little exploring and lone wolf it. And
That's
you know,
okay.
I listen. I just go with my moods, man. And
I get it.
and
This phase of the moon.
yeah, it was my
Lone
phase
Wolf.
of the moon. It was lone wolf month.
I get it because you have family, kids. You're,
Yeah, my
you know,
life is in disarray. Yeah, so when I get when I get time to like just chill and walk some new streets and just check out the vibe of a town, it's really something I really cherish and I love to do. So I do that.
It's
So
cool.
you couldn't be there.
I just couldn't be there. I
You
wasn't
just couldn't
allowed.
be there. It's like
Couldn't.
it's not about you. It's just you couldn't be
Right,
there.
right.
Be
He's
there.
making a
It's
big
lone
deal. We
wolf time.
hung.
Fortunately, I had a whole other podcast to hang out with. So
Yeah, he really did. He really did.
The last stop that we did in our series of dates was in Dublin, and my partner on the podcast, Zach, his wife and his mother-in-law came to meet them in Dublin because none of them had ever gone.
Oh wow.
It was my third time in Ireland. Sorry, I dropped that humble brag. But
damn, girl.
so I did my lone wolf thing because I was like, I've been to the Guinness factory and
Right.
I've
Yeah.
like done a lot of this stuff. I'd love, and also now you're kind of in like a family
Yeah.
zone.
Right.
You're like, I'm bouncing out.
So I lone wolfed it.
Where'd you lone wolf it?
Well, I it's been a decade since I've been in Dublin, so I still wanted one day of like, let me walk these streets,
Yeah.
And then
Did you visit some old haunts?
I went back to Trinity College, which I remember having a really fun time walking around. And then also I remember there was like a student pub that I had gone to before. I didn't end up hanging out there because it was like a little early. And, but I was like, 10 years ago, I had a beer here.
Cool.
Wow.
Did you study?
No, just like when I was there,
Gotcha.
also walking around Trinity. It's a weird thing because like it's hard to imagine being in college and have your college be like a tourist attraction,
Right.
but it is. The Book of Kells is there, and like, which is like one of the oldest living books. That's not living,
It's like
but
an
Yeah.
old, like
Old-
I'm
Celtic
not familiar with that. What is the Book of Kells?
poetry.
it's the Bible also. It's like
Oh,
leather
wow.
but also the story of the Kel.
Oh.
It's I don't know. I
I
didn't
should know this.
honestly. I didn't wait in line for it because
But
I was
wait,
like, I don't
did
want
you
to
go to college there?
No, no.
Trinity College?
No, I just walked around it
Okay.
10 years ago, and then again.
Okay.
A
What
few
were you
weeks
doing
ago.
there 10 years ago? I guess that's my question.
It was like a stop on I went backpacking in Europe with two
Got
friends,
it.
and like Trinity, I just mean as anybody's walking around Trinity if you're in Dublin.
Right.
And I was like, well, we were here.
It's
I
a
remember we
spot.
looked at this field. Hey, we went in this pub.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go to any haunted places while you were there? I have to figure there's got to be some like
Feels like it
spooky
should
old-
be.
yeah.
Yeah. I went to, so then the second day, I did a day trip up to Northern Ireland to Belfast, which is where my dad was born. And then
Cool.
further north to the Giant's Causeway, which is this like natural, what would you like? Not a national park, but it's like a heritage site.
Yeah, right.
The like lava meets the ocean and makes like these
Oh, I love that.
hexagons.
Sure.
They're super cool, and that feels it's very like this is where the giant Finn McCool hangs out. And, like very much like okay, we're getting into some mystical Irish
Yeah.
stuff,
Can't
not
let-
necessarily
when
haunted.
the lava meets the ocean, you're getting into mystical shit.
You are.
It's just going to
When
go
the lava
down.
meets the ocean, that's when giants are born.
If we were on our podcast, that's when we'd start going.
This
We
is when-
go now to when the lava meets the ocean.
The ocean.
I'm the child
Yep.
of a lava queen.
Perfect.
Great, right? So the Giants Causeway
Crossover.
is
Yeah,
an
totally.
area of about 400,000 interlocking basalt columns, the result of ancient volcanic fissure eruption.
Sweet.
Cool. I was hoping also they found like old giant footprints there.
Never know.
Well, yeah. The story goes that the Irish giant Fionn Mac Cumhail, Finn McCool,
Finn McKill.
from the Finian cycle of Gaelic mythology, was challenged to a fight by the Scottish giant Bendendonner.
Oh, shit. Giant
Damn,
off, huh?
we got to look this up.
It's
This
on
sounds-
Finn.
This
That
is
was
pretty cool.
yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go into Jess's personal parent, may I call you Jess?
You may.
Prefer.
Awesome.
We have some
BCC News.
This is from NBC News. Real life Atlantis,
Oh.
lost continent found under Europe, is revealing Earth's missing history.
What?
Yeah, so get this. This came out. This is going to be a little old by the time you guys listen to this, so I don't know why we call this BCC News, but this has been out for about a week now.
That's all right.
But it's new to us. So they found these scientists in Netherlands, these geologists, discovered this missing continent called Greater Adria that's underneath Europe. So here we go. More than 2,000 years ago, Plato wrote about a land called Atlantis, where a mighty empire vanished beneath the waves after a series of excessively violent earthquakes and floods, probably caused by giants.
Yeah.
His tale has inspired plenty of nonsense in the centuries since, but now it seems that that's a little bit of a dig to the Atlantean hopefuls out there.
right.
Clearly not.
They don't respect their Greek philosophy.
No.
Shame on them.
Also, nor are they fans of Aquaman, it sounds like. New research shows that lost continents are a real thing, and they have had a big impact on human life, though not in the way that Plato imagined. Douwe van Hinsbergen, a geologist at Utrecht University in the Netherlands, sorry if I butchered that, has been exploring one of the most dramatic of these lost continents, known as Greater Adria. Or Adria? A-D-R-I-A?
Ad Astra.
In a paper published in early September, the journal Gondwana Research, he and his colleagues studied rocks around and beneath the Mediterranean Sea to reveal the full extent of Greater Adria for the first time. It's enormous, about the size and rough shape as Greenland, he says. Now, if you don't recall seeing Greater Adria on a map, there's a reason for that. It's completely buried, not under the ocean, but beneath southern Europe.
That's crazy.
About 140 million years ago, the two continents began to collide. Greater Adria got bulldozed and buried in the process and mostly sank beneath what is now Italy, Greece, and the Baltics. And Greater Adria is not unique. Emerging studies of Earth's mantle show likely traces of past lost continents. Analysis of ancient rocks suggests that almost all of Earth's earliest continents might have disappeared, taking with them much of the history of life on this planet. The evidence of how life first appeared may be lost somewhere down there in the depths.
Wow.
It's pretty cool. So it goes on to say that like remnants of Greater Adria are in the Swiss Alps. Like the mountains were probably likely formed by this collision. Pretty cool stuff. And there's another one underneath New Zealand, or a formation known as Zealandia.
Yeah, they're all fucking over the world, man. There's that new Graham Hancock book where he explores all these underwater megalithic sites.
Magicians of the Gods, is that the one?
No, I don't think so.
That's his newest book.
Oh, then maybe that's it.
Maybe you're thinking
that's
of
it.
Fingerprints of the
I
Gods.
think so. Yeah, one of those. It doesn't.
That's his
Yeah.
newest book.
Whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No. All right.
Sorry,
You got me.
dude. That's his newest book.
But yeah, that stuff is crazy, man. I mean, we're still just uncovering the very tip of the iceberg as far as Göbekli Tepe is concerned. That's
surface.
scratching the surface.
Göbekli Tepe?
Göbekli Tepe.
What's that?
You don't know what Göbekli Tepe is?
No.
Oh my God! It's this site in somewhere, but they've uncovered
dude.
this.
That's not the newest site that I heard about.
That's crazy. No, so it's this archaeological dig site that they're discovering. Really, it goes on. So they've really only uncovered the top of it, and what it has done is it has pushed the date back for human history of civilizations almost thousands of years. It's a relatively.
Where is it? What continent is it?
Oh man, I don't know. I couldn't tell you off the back. No. Göbekli.
Göbekli.
Göbekli Tepe.
Göbekli Becky.
No,
Becky Temple.
Becky Temple, dude.
Becky
you're so
Temple.
far
Who
off.
is Becky Temple?
Göbekli. So it's Göbekli
Temple.
No, it's Göbekli Tepe.
This sounds like something you'd have to chant when getting initiated into an Ivy League secret society.
I know.
Göbekli Tepe.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Göbekli Tepe.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So, it's a
It's
crazy.
it's in
Where is
Turkey.
it? Turkey. Thank you.
Cool. Well, we'll go check it out. Not spelled at all the way I thought it would be.
Yeah, but they don't know if it was like a ceremonial site or
Founded in 10th millennium BC.
right.
Dang.
So what it has done is it's older than anything, older than the pyramids and any other site on Earth as far as ancient civilizations go. And they've discovered writing, petroglyphic carvings, and they've really only scratched the surface of this thing. It was actually buried, so intentionally they actually covered it back up with sand. Nobody really knows why.
What?
But it goes down in spirals, right? And so it just goes. They think this site is so huge. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to follow that up.
How huge is it?
So big.
It's just so big.
How big is it?
I'm really caught off guard trying to talk about this.
No,
but,
I mean, I just had never heard of it.
Oh.
You're not. Listen, man.
Yeah.
We're not scientists.
Hey, no shit about
We
that.
just like to talk about weird stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's very cool.
We'll have to just all check it out.
Yeah, that was a nice level of knowledge from Off the Dome.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
on.
I
Right
agree.
on.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why we keep him around.
Yeah.
Oh, you're sweet.
And he's not bad to look at either. Just constantly sexually harassing my co-hosts on this podcast.
I don't mind it.
Jess, you play Aqualad on DC Superhero Girls.
I do.
He's from Atlantis.
That's right.
Aquaman's sidekick. Did you do any research on
I think
Atlantis?
he's young Aquaman.
He's oh really?
Yeah. In DC Supergirls, it's
It's a little different.
it's all of them in high school. It's mostly about
Is his name Arthur Curry?
Garth.
Garth, that's his sidekick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Garth is his little sidekick who goes on to become Tempest.
Oh, interesting.
Hey, next time you book one of these jobs, why don't you call me?
Yeah.
I'll fill you in on.
You're fine.
Well, I mean, he's
As
an
long as the
outlier
check
in many
arrives.
ways, but everyone else is like young Flash, young like
Kid Flash.
Kid Flash.
These are all the sidekicks.
No.
But all the women, but I understand all the DC superhero girls are.
The real deal. I think all the boys are the real.
Is there is there like Superboy who's Clark Kent?
No, there's
Connor? Kent?
who's what's the Flash's real name?
Barry Allen.
Yeah, it's him.
Okay, this is a confusing universe.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay, got
But
it.
Aqualad is
Is he blonde or does he have black hair?
he has dark hair.
That's Garth.
Okay. He does have he's like a bit of an outcast. So it would make sense that he's the only
Got it.
one who's a
Is
sidekick.
so Barry Allen's a teenager. Is Bruce Wayne a teenager?
Bruce Wayne not on it.
Not on it.
Not
Okay.
at least in the episodes. It's like Green Lantern, Flash.
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Understood.
Cool.
Oh my
I should
gosh.
watch
I'm
this.
gonna get
See
people are
what I
gonna
deal
at
with
me
with this
so
guy?
No, they're
hard
not.
for this.
No. Okay. Jess, we like to ask all of our guests, what is your personal paranormal history?
Oh, such an interesting question that I fear I have an uninteresting answer to.
You know what? You'd
We'll
be
see about
surprised.
that.
I feel like none, I guess.
Okay, you're right.
They're like,
shrug.
and segment over. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have like the thing that I'm a little like, oh yeah, this makes me sound a little lame, is the thing that I'm really most afraid of is aliens.
Oh wow. Okay,
Welcome
great.
to the club.
Yeah, like
That's-
afraid.
No, me too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
usually laugh at me. It's like always a disappointing reveal, akin to like when I tell people I'm not that into breakfast. They're like, "What?" But I liked you.
What's strange is that I'm falling out of love with breakfast as well.
Don't you just feel like I should be able to have a turkey sandwich at 10 a.m. if I
That's
want?
what I did
Absolutely.
today.
Are you
I
serious?
did put a fried egg on it.
That's okay.
Just to make it a little more breakfasty. But I'm like,
Oh, but you're still eating in the morning.
I actually don't like eating in the morning.
Okay.
I have a hard time like getting hungry, and like when I was a kid, having to eat before school very early, like always kind of made my stomach feel bad.
Right.
I think I just am a person who gets hungry later in the day.
and then
that's fine.
step back.
And then I'm like, no, I gotta have 2 subs.
Not even cereal, not even like Kellogg's came through for you in the morning.
I mean, I was just standing hard for Pop-Tarts. And my mom was like so desperate to have me eat anything that it got to the point where I straight up would be given just like a Pop-Tart and a Sunny D, or
Oh,
a
boy.
churro and a Sunny D.
Wow.
She
That's
would pack
lot.
me a really healthy lunch, like, but she was just like, I don't know, please eat something.
Where does your mom get churros?
It's basically just a rolled up waffle. Oh,
That's
where'd
true.
she get them? Like frozen at Costco.
Oh, gotcha.
And then she popped them in the oven. It was awesome.
My favorite before school tradition was eating a frozen Eggo waffle while watching the Flintstones on the old black and white portable TV. And when I say frozen Eggo waffle, I mean it was still frozen. I did not want that toasted. How weird is that?
Well, let's get this train back on the track.
That's pretty
I'm
normal.
saying maybe aliens have something to do with our
Loss of
fear
morning
breakfast.
appetite?
Yeah, lost
Yeah.
time of breakfast.
I don't think so.
We have no idea what makes us both afraid of
I
aliens.
don't know.
I do actually.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I think that I know that there are many threats and dangers in this world. Sure.
Mhm.
But like, if I was getting like chased by, people are like, "Oh, the biggest threat is man," which I agree with in a lot of
You know
like
what else is the most dangerous game?
man. But I'm like, if I were being chased by like people who are like, "Oh, like a serial killer movie gets me way more." If I was getting chased by a serial killer, yes, they probably will defeat me and I will die. But I understand their human form and its limits and abilities. If like an alien is zapped in here right now, I have no idea what they can do.
Like, where do you kick it first?
Yes.
In between the legs?
Right.
Guess what? It doesn't have
and
balls.
actually what
No
it has there
genitals.
is a black hole that now your foot is stuck in. You know what I mean? There's no way for us to know. I know that there's like, oh, the psychological reason is the unknown of all this, but I feel like, oh, a lot of the things that people are afraid of, I'm like, well, I at least know how I would try to escape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I'd do against an alien.
Bryce, first move against an alien gray. What do you go for first?
Oh, you mind fuck it. You gotta
Whoa.
you gotta stare right into its eyes and say,
Okay, all right.
Wait. Are you?
Are
you-
you coming on to that?
Yeah. Are you literally mind fucking it?
No, you've gotta show dominance over telepathic powers. That's what I would do.
Oh,
How do you do that?
Shh, guy, you gotta have a routine that you go by.
Let's hear the routine.
yeah, how can you establish a routine?
Right. So let's say an alien pops in here, right? And it sort of manifests. You have to look this thing right in its almond black eyes. And
Be
you
like,
know
alien, I'm gonna make fucking love to you.
that
tonight.
might be one way to do it. Yeah. Or
Okay.
you could be like, alien, I'm not going anywhere with you tonight. You're going with me. Right?
Okay. I like this.
Yeah.
And then where do you take him?
Oh, just for a tour around the house or something
Oh,
like that.
that's
Maybe the
nice.
backyard.
That's nice.
I would just stab it directly in the eye.
You think
Because that's
so?
the biggest target you've got. Grab something sharp.
Yeah.
plunge it deep into that big brain of it.
Well, you'd have to get a
That's
knife.
where you thought its brain was,
Right.
though, Michael.
Turns out
That's actually, those are also black holes, and now your hand is stuck, and it's getting spaghettified.
Yeah.
This is why they are the scariest.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people report paralysis too, so you just can't go and get a knife. That's why you're only left with the tool you're only left with is your eyes and your mind. So you got to use those intelligently.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you think of an alien, what are you picturing in your mind, Jess?
So I think that's part of the problem is I'm like, it could be Alien from Alien, Aliens. With the first episode of Stranger Things, before we know it's a dimensional thing,
Right.
and you kind of only see the figure, I was like, fuck, this is an alien story.
Yeah.
And I straight up had nightmares. That's the only episode that ever made me scared, like true scared, because it ends with such like, it's so haunting, and I was like, oh man,
So good.
this is an alien story. I'm about to get so freaking scared by this alien. Once it's a dimensional thing, I'm way less scared. It becomes more like fun thriller. It gets out of like true fear for me.
Let me probe further. Are you afraid of
Probe?
being like?
I mean-
you afraid of?
He said it.
Are you afraid of being like eaten alive or lobotomized or
Yeah.
put into a test tube or taken aboard a spaceship?
Abducted,
taken away
some
from
like
your family?
Slaughterhouse 5 stuff. I think definitely eaten. I had a reoccurring nightmare as a child being eaten by a killer whale. So I think being.
Whoa.
I know.
You sound like a kid who had night terrors.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
But I just refused to eat breakfast and was afraid of whales, I guess. I feel like aliens as a fear might be later in life too. Like I think it was like signs.
That was a great one. Crop circles.
Yeah. And then like
What do they mean?
And then like the Mothman prophecies.
Oh yeah, we talk about that all the time. You've seen that movie?
Yeah, very scary.
Oh yeah.
Now that's a dimensional thing.
Yeah, I know, but it felt alienish.
Doesn't
and then
it?
even the preview of that movie, like the fourth kind with the owl that people see,
yeah.
that I'm like, no, I didn't see it. Just the preview, I was like, no, thank
Owls
you.
are commonly associated with the gray aliens and abductions. It's a phenomena that seem to sort of have these strange parallels. People will see either mostly owls, but sometimes deers, and then these creatures will shapeshift into the aliens themselves. And
Owls are also associated with like abduction stories like Labyrinth. Remember Labyrinth? Jareth takes the baby.
Yeah.
He's got an owl as his other form. So
Dang.
there's just like, it goes back probably to some of these like old Book of Kells kind of myth stuff.
Yeah.
what was that great movie? It was in Nome, Alaska, also based on true events, where all
Wasn't
these
it
people.
called The Fourth Kind?
It might have been, yeah.
The Fourth Kind, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like found footagey stuff.
I never saw
Based
that, but
on-
I know what it is. I
yeah,
don't know
but
where
it was
takes
based on
place.
actual events. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people go missing in
Like
this
a
one small
sleep-
town. And
It started as a sleep study, and then they were like, oh, they all are seeing the same
yeah,
owl
that's
or
crazy.
something. And I was like, get me the F away from this.
wow.
I mean, I'm never going to look at Winnie the Pooh the same way.
What?
I mean, a little boy goes into the woods. There's an owl there. He interacts with like small 3-foot entities that shouldn't be talking and existing in the 100
It's a
acre
bear,
woods.
a donkey, and a pig.
Yeah, but there's an owl there.
All right. Well,
I can't believe that was your first cultural touchstone for owl.
I don't know. It
can't-
just came to me.
Zooming past Harry Potter.
I know. Well, I grew up with Winnie the Pooh.
He's great.
I mean, I'm old. Harry Potter, I was like in college when that shit was coming out. Still read it.
Very good.
But again, I mean, that's the first thing that visits Harry Potter before he goes off into the magical world.
I know.
Right.
Sometimes when I get into this alien stuff, people are like, "What if they're like cool?" And I'm like, "Sure." Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be in some sort of like Twilight Zone, like I'm in a box about my narrative of others. But like, I mean,
it gets split
it's
down the
a
middle.
little scary.
It is. It gets split down the middle. There's about 50% who report positive experiences and like feeling comforted by the knowledge brought to them by the aliens. And then there's like the other half that are just like, they're taken against their will, shown things they don't want to see. And then they're sort of, not visited once, but more than twice by these certain entities. And it's very strange. So you can almost divide that into the contactee experience and the abductee experience. You know? The contactees report these like continuing dialogues that, further their development and all this crazy stuff.
They're the artsy ones.
Sure.
Right.
They get cool ideas and they paint things.
Yeah, right.
The abductees are like, dude, this is not fun.
I mean, a psychologist would have a field day with this, but I mean, it might just lie on where your personal philosophy is, or it might be a real phenomena that is actually taking place.
Is it the fear? Are you scared of the unknown?
I mean, I think, yes, I think everyone is, right? Like, so I think that's if I'm thinking of, you hear a bump in your house and you like go to look what it is, as terrifying as it would be to see like a human with a knife, to me it'd be worse to see an alien.
Right.
Because I'm like, human with knife. Okay,
You get that. You know what
I know
that
how to
is.
run away from you and grab a different knife and grab my phone and know where the doors are.
You know, like if you call
Alien-
911 on a human, like you can kind of predict what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
If it's an alien, they've actually like put me in an orb and time doesn't exist, and like I am now my
That's
own
right.
ant, and like it's all
Literally,
done.
though, an ant.
Yeah.
You've become an ant.
I'm an ant, and that's my path now. I
That's
can
wild.
carry a lot for my body, but I'm very small. Yeah. I think it's just like I think that kernel of it I can't get over as like why that makes it so much scarier.
That makes sense. I know we'll get into it, but where do you subscribe to this? Do you believe in the existence that we're being visited by other beings from different planets, or?
I don't really. I'm a little bit. I think like mathematically, there's definitely aliens.
Right.
Aliens. I guess
Life
is just
on
from
other planets.
our view of what that is. But there is other life in this infinite expanding universe. Do I think that they are here? Have been here? Not really. I wouldn't be like shocked if it was like, no, actually, this one time they came and that's how we have pigs.
Right. Well,
I'd be like, cool.
Well, some people think that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Well, and the guy, that wrote the Mothman prophecy, his name is John Keel, and his idea of where these things came from didn't come from out there, from an external planet. He believed that this sort of phenomena was all taking place here on Earth, and that these entities derived from planet Earth, and he coined the term ultra-terrestrials.
Or another dimension.
Or another dimension, yes, perhaps, but it's all coming from here and not so much out there. Whether that means
Right.
it's coming from us or from other dimensions that are here on this plane, who knows?
I think it could be a little from column A and a little from column B.
Interesting. Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know.
I
Or-
feel like the multiverse, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense to me almost more because of travel, that like, that seems like a smaller leap, that, there could be weaker points in what connect
right.
the fabric of the
dimensional
dimensional
planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. The big
But if you've got a million-year jump start or head start on another civilization, technologically, you've figured out a way to get around the light year thing.
I know. And
think.
if they're here,
Totally.
is it just to be pals, or is it to be like, we're out of pigs and you have them?
I think they're probably so far past that, honestly, if that's what it is. I think they are here observing, watching the way that we would go into another culture or just go into the rainforest and study bugs.
Yeah, that's
They're
called
just
the
studying
zoo
life.
hypothesis.
Yeah,
They're
and
basically like zookeepers, and we're
or not that
We're locked
they're
in
necessarily
cages.
even like this
Having
is,
an active hand, they're just like, what's up over there?
well, like if we could travel back in time and study cavemen, we would.
Yeah.
100%. Like we would do that. If we could go back and look at the dinosaurs, we would.
Yeah.
And if Michael Crichton's novel The Lost World taught us anything, in order to study the species, you have to not interact with it. So you have to play the observer as much as possible. Of course, the fallacy in that is that, and quantum physics is teaching us, is that the act of observation creates
an effect on the world.
Yeah.
Causality. So.
Yeah.
I think that if they're here,
That's that little boop boop test where all of a sudden they go the
yeah.
I-
The particles.
Oh,
Yeah.
the double slit? Is that what you're talking about?
What?
Well, the boop boop test.
Yeah.
The double
Double
slit
slit?
experiment.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
That's what it's called.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They
But
said-
but my hand motions and saying boop boop.
Yeah, I
Michael
know
knew
what you
that.
meant.
Yeah.
Right.
That two particle can exist in two different places at the same time. That's what we're talking about.
Well, it's the looking at it.
Yeah,
changed.
The double slit experiment shows that through the active observation that it changes the state of a particle, or it changes
like
the
when
behavior.
they were looking at it to see if it was like waves, it would show up as a wave, and when they wanted to see
so the
it as
double
like a
slit
photon,
experiment
it was a
sort of
photon.
works like this. They fired all these, I believe, photons into a sheet with a slit, and it hit the other side of the wall pretty continuously and pretty the same, pretty uniform. But when
Definitely not a science podcast.
No, not a science podcast, that's for sure. But when they did the double slit and they actually measured it now this time with active measurements, then the particles wouldn't behave the same way. They would often shoot off in different directions, and it would create a very ununiform display on the back of the wall.
And the way that I heard it, and this is years ago, and I'm paraphrasing obviously, is that when they would be like, let's see if it forms a wave, it would. When they wanted to see if it formed a different way, it would.
Interesting, yeah.
And so it was almost interacting with them in a weird way.
Well, the point is, and it's ground shattering, is that we live in an observer.
The ground.
It's shattering.
Oh no, the ground.
Yeah, an observer.
Now it's a
world.
wave.
Yeah, well, if they never thought a photon could be live in the position of a wave and a particle, but it does, and that's not supposed to be that way.
That's pretty cool. Before we move on to our game, do you have any Halloween memories you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh my gosh, I love not scary Halloween. I'm real into pumpkins,
Yes.
jack-o'-lanterns,
Yeah.
candy.
Jack-o'-lanterns.
I had
are
candy
scary.
corn today. It was damn good.
Me
really?
too. I
Yeah,
already have a
that's
bowl
my
out.
favorite.
I'm into
I
it.
love it.
I know it's divisive. I'm real pro corn.
Did you deck out the like your home?
I have my house is not super into seasonal decor.
Got it.
Except for like Pretty Free, like into it at Christmas, and then there's a couple things. He's really not into Halloween.
Sounds a little on edge, to be honest.
I know. I was like, this doesn't make him sound.
I don't want to be
Great.
too excited by anything.
I know. He just doesn't like scary decorations.
Okay.
I have like a sign that says Happy Halloween and like a thing of autumnal leaves.
Oh, yeah,
and
right.
like playful jack-o'-lanterns.
I want elementary school
Yes.
like Halloween.
He doesn't want to like
decor.
live in a home that is like, oh, why am I scared right now? He's like even less into
Why are
scary
there
things.
zombies coming up through the floor?
Dude,
Yeah.
I went to a Halloween store just the other day with my kids, and there were some really great new Halloween things, and they're huge. One's like holding kids upside down, like dipping them into a boiling pot of
Oh my
like a
gosh.
cauldron. There's this one skeleton on a swing, and it's like, come play with me.
That's too scary.
Forever.
Oh
And
my
you're just like,
gosh.
oh shit.
That
you
is
know?
so scary.
Yeah, they're tapping into that kid
Oh
ghost
my
thing,
I want
which
like
is so
a big,
great.
friendly, purple, fuzzy spider.
Yeah. I'm the youngest of three, and my mom dressed up as a witch named Witch Hazel, and
Awesome.
like blacked out a tooth, had a wig, and threw
Striped socks.
like awesome, and threw
course.
great Halloween parties where you like make like that mud stuff,
Oh, yeah.
and you play freeze dance, and you have like mummy dogs.
What is a mummy dog?
You wrap like crescent dough around a hot dog,
Oh,
look like it's a
that's so
mummy.
adorable.
Isn't it cute? And
Just
there were
don't serve it for breakfast.
Nope, no, thank you. Hard pass. She was like
That better be after 12 p.m.
Thank you. There were a few years where she threw 3 separate ones for 3 different ages. What a wild,
Your mom-
untenable bar, she said.
Was calling for help, I feel like.
And then many years was like only one of us or like a joint one. But probably a favorite Halloween of mine is in 2nd grade I went as Elvis. And that was-
no way.
You make a good Elvis.
You
I
would
can
I
make
see
a
could
good
do
that.
like
Elvis.
yeah.
You got the lip
I
thing.
got the lip. The listeners can't see this, but I'm
She's
doing,
doing
the lip.
Elvis
It's a little hard to do
Squirrel.
it while talking.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
talk like
I think it was
Oh,
pretty good.
thank you. And I mean, when I got the candy, I said, "Oh, thank you very much."
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty,
great. That's
pretty
perfect.
good. Pretty
Were
good
you
look for an
70s Elvis?
yes.
Great. That's the good one. They're
now-
all good, but
Maybe like late 60s. I didn't like stuff myself with a pillow,
Right.
but I was not like Blue Hawaii.
It would be
or-
great if every year you had just done the natural progression.
Yeah, it was like
from-
bell-bottomy jumpsuit, but
Yeah.
and slick black hair with drawn-on sideburns and an
I'm a big
inflatable guitar.
Elvis fan. I made my son son dress as Elvis the first 3 years of his life.
Not for Halloween,
And I'll
just for every day.
I'll show you. I celebrated a long time ago, but my 10-year anniversary with my wife in Vegas, and I made my son go as a little baby Elvis, and we got renewed our vows with Elvis at an Elvis chapel. But it was
This
phenomenal.
is very good. This is exactly like the outfit I wore.
What's the picture?
So I see two
It's his
sort
American
of
trilogy outfit from Aloha in
unreasonably
Hawaii.
adorable children, two little towheads, one girl in a sequin top with a beautiful peach tulle skirt, and a small boy, I'm going to say maybe 2.5 years, 3.
man,
You said 3?
Yeah, it was around 3. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. And he's in a slightly too big for him Elvis suit, complete with red scarf, and they're in front of one of the more charming chapels that you can go to Vegas.
Yeah.
There's a stone bridge.
No, Elvis
looks like
renewed
a
our vows.
wishing well.
It was
It's very
amazing.
charming.
And now he's a Beatles fan.
Well, I always have been, but they'll never be as great as
They're
Elvis.
good lord. Boy, they're so cute.
Very
Okay.
cute.
Anyway.
All right, we have a game we want to play with you. This is a game that we call Bullshit.
Or believe it.
Okay.
All right, it's rapid fire.
All right.
I'm going to list a bunch of things, and you're going to say believe it if you believe in it, or if you're open to it. Bullshit if it's a closed door.
Great.
For example, breakfast would be,
Bullshit.
Well, you say believe it if you're even a little bit into it.
I mean, sure.
Okay. Because I like some toast.
Okay,
and
okay.
like a corned beef hash.
All right. Now
Can we
you're
add
changing
breakfast to the list?
You're changing the narrative.
I know.
on
I'm
me.
sorry.
For everybody out there who's been following the show, I switched it up a little bit for this month. We're
Oh,
doing a little
good.
bit
No
more
way.
of a Halloween theme.
Oh,
Believe it.
fantastic.
So here we go.
Okay.
Jess, on your mark, get set,
Bullshit. Sorry.
ghosts,
Believe it.
UFOs,
Believe it.
Bigfoot,
Bullshit.
angels,
Believe it.
vampires,
Bullshit.
shadow people,
Bullshit.
Loch Ness monster,
Believe it.
little gray aliens,
Bullshit.
werewolves,
Bullshit.
parallel universes,
Believe it.
zombies,
Bullshit.
shapeshifters,
Bullshit.
heaven,
Believe it.
hell,
Bullshit.
Yeti,
Bullshit.
the mummy's curse,
Believe it.
astrology,
Bullshit.
ESP,
Bullshit.
witches,
Believe it.
demons,
Bullshit.
Atlantis,
Believe it.
Mothman,
Bullshit.
reincarnation,
Believe it.
the devil,
Bullshit.
the apocalypse,
Believe it.
Halloween.
Believe it.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that one. Well done.
I feel like I felt very all around the map on that.
That
That's
was
great.
great,
People
though.
usually are.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I was delighted to hear that you believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one that I was like, well, per your instruction, I feel like if there's an inkling towards like, that's a real 51-49 for me.
Sure.
I'm like-
you know what? That's all the Electoral College needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's honestly how I feel about almost like a lot of that list. So it's like, well, I mean, I could go like beep, beep.
Totally.
That's good. I dig it. Any ghosty
Ghosty.
interactions in your life? Any family stories about ghosts?
My mom and my sister both have both been visited by my grandmother who's passed in dreams.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes like before, my mom has once like woke up in the middle of the night and called like a family member, was like, so and so had their baby, and they're like, yeah. And a different time called my brother and was like, what's wrong? And he was like, I had just got in a car accident.
Precognition.
And then she had a lot of dreams about her mom right around the time that her mom's sister died. So, I mean, I don't know.
I had a dream last night that my aunt fell down the stairs. Should I call her and tell her?
My
Yeah,
mom
maybe.
also has like, of all her children, she only really has bad dreams about me. Like she would have kind of like sometimes like call or text me while I was in school, just like, I'm sorry, I just had to hear your voice. Like, don't, like, I know it's
interesting.
fine, but like, you were in my dreams last night and it was a little, I feel like it's because I'm a baby. I feel like there's a little bit of like,
Yeah.
a little bit of feeling like I'm more vulnerable than my siblings for whatever reason. But I had a dream once that is not a ghost, but really like shook me, which was, I had a dream that my mom had died and my siblings and I were cleaning out her house, and I walked into the garage and I saw her, and I was like, are you okay? Do we go somewhere? Is there a heaven? And she looked at me and she's like, it's not our place to know for sure while we're alive.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
That's
a great answer, though.
Isn't that such a dope answer?
Yeah.
Were you in the dream older than you were? So do you feel like it was like a future?
I feel like maybe there was some. I wish I could remember more vividly what was happening in my life when I had this dream.
Yeah.
About like any questions I was asking, or like feeling like my mom needed help or guidance or whatever. Or I can't remember. Like this was a few years ago. I don't remember. I don't remember like the scenario under which like my subconscious would have been wrestling with my either thoughts of the afterlife or also like my mom's safety. I don't know.
Yeah, that dream world is a strange place. You know, nobody really knows exactly what it is or why
Or
people
where
dream
it is.
or where it is exactly. But people have had strange
Do you have
premonitions
a
in their
map
dreams.
to the dream world?
Oh, that sounds like a Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
I saw one at a Home Depot that was like a full ghost pirate ship.
Oh.
And I'm like, where do you store this ish between the seasons?
So no Bigfoot?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
What is Bigfoot to you?
I mean, I'm sure some sort of version of a missing link somewhere in history maybe was a thing that we would find. We'd be like, oh, there's this. That like the fact that we lived at the same time as Neanderthals is like, or Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Is like pretty interesting.
Pretty mind-blowing.
It's like, well, maybe there's something that we could still, there's definitely the possibility we could still find
Right.
something where like, oh, actually there was another step between this and this and this.
Well, that's where science kind of got it wrong, right? They always envisioned it as sort of a chain of command, like one species would die off or evolve into another one, and none of these different ancestral species lived at the same time. But what science is finding out now is that there was about 3 to 4 to 5 different type of ancestral lineages here surviving on this earth at the same time, which I think is amazing.
Cool. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it's time for this week's story of high strangeness.
Sweet.
All right, we're back, and it is Bryce's turn for high strangeness this week.
Yay.
And what did you bring in for our Bigfoot Halloween spectacular?
Oh, man, I'm pretty excited about this story. So I begin. It's that time of the year again, Club Scouts, when the leaves start to change color. The coolness calms the air, and marauders of the night begin to plot and plan their Halloween terrors. And so I bring to you a most strange tale indeed that involves seances, table lifting, Mensa members, a good bit of creative writing,
I'm in Mensa.
and an imaginary but all too real ghost named Philip.
That's my impersonation of everyone I've ever met from Mensa. Hi,
This
I'm
is
Rick.
the high
I'm in Mensa.
strangeness of Philip, the imaginary ghost. Now, have you heard me talk about this on
Yes,
the
you've
podcast
brought
a
him
couple
up
times?
like 7 times.
Maybe once or twice. But anyway, in the
Viewers, listeners,
this is incredible. You're going to love this.
count and let us know if I'm right.
In the early 1970s, a group of parapsychological researchers known as the Owen Group, or the Owen 8, from the Toronto Society for Psychical Research, embarked on a groundbreaking experiment. They decided to test the theory that paranormal visitations are merely a product of the human mind by seeing if they could use the group's collective fears and beliefs to create their very own spirit and force it into existence. The experiment was directed by A.R.G. Owen, a mathematician and psychic researcher who specialized in poltergeist cases, and was supervised by a Dr. Joel Witten, a Toronto-based psychologist. Now, the test group comprised of Iris Owen, the wife of ARG, as well as a former chairperson of Mensa in Canada, Margaret Sparrow, along with 7 other volunteers. All the participants were members of the Toronto Society for Psychical Research, and it's important to note that none of them considered themselves to have any psychic abilities. Their idea was to develop a fictional character through determined methodology and attempt to communicate with it through seance. Oh, sorry. I felt you over my shoulder about to chime in.
No,
Anyway.
you know when I'll interrupt.
I know.
'cause I interrupt.
I'm waiting for it. The group began to contrive the fictitious identity, giving him a personal history of character, or backstory, as we say in the biz, and even going so far as to give him a detailed personal appearance, one that was sketched out in detail on paper, available to see on our Instagram account at Bigfoot Collectors Club. Now, they decided to name him Philip Aylesford, and one of the researchers got to work. Philip was an aristocratic Englishman living in the middle 1600s at the time of Oliver Cromwell. He had been a supporter of the king and was a Catholic. He was married to a beautiful but cold and frigid wife, Dorothea, the daughter of a neighboring nobleman. One day,
This woman just wanted to write fan fiction about Outlander.
Oh my God, okay, there it was. When out riding on the boundaries of his estates, Philip came across a gypsy encampment and saw there a beautiful, dark-eyed, raven-haired gypsy girl, Margot, and fell instantly in love with her. He brought her back secretly to live in the gatehouse near the stables of Diddington Manor, his family home. Now, Diddington Manor was in fact a real place and the only real part of their fictionalized story. For some time, he kept his love nest secret. But eventually, Dorothea, realizing he was keeping someone else there, found Margot and accused her of witchcraft and of stealing her husband. Philip was too scared of losing his reputation and his possessions to protest at the trial of Margot, and she was convicted of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Philip subsequently was stricken with remorse that he had not tried to defend Margot and used to pace the battlements of Diddington in despair. Finally, one morning, his body was found at the foot of the battlements, where he had cast himself off in a fit of agony and remorse. The experiment went on for months with no success. The group would sit around a table with both hands placed gently on top and merely concentrate, much like the spiritualists of the 19th century. And then one day, Jess, it happened. There was a knock on the table, which at first was felt more than heard. All of the group's 8 members felt the vibration. Now, this was followed by a number of distinct knocks that were in fact heard and felt. Skeptical at first, the group felt that these knocks were perhaps inadvertently the result of one of the group's participants. They quickly changed their minds when the table itself began to move around the room. When a startled member asked aloud, "I wonder if Philip is doing this," a loud knock was heard as if in response. Philip, the imaginary...
knocks were louder.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was good. Philip, the imaginary ghost, had arrived. The group devised a plan in which 1 knock would signify a yes and 2 knocks would indicate a no. Soon after, they began enjoying spirited conversations with Philip. This entity that they apparently conjured up exhibited likes and dislikes, had strong views on certain subjects, and was hesitant on others. They questioned him on his personal life, and once, when apparently too personal question was asked in regards to his wife Dorothea, loud scratching sounds were heard. It was noted that the ghostly sounds and movements of the table seemed closely related to the thoughts of the group. If they were in agreement to what an answer should be, the resulting yes knock was quick and loud. If there were doubts amongst the group's members, the result would be a corresponding hesitation in the sounds. As their experiment progressed, the participants would engage in teasing and joking with Philip, which seemed to anger him, causing the table movements and knocks to become more frequent and pronounced. It was reported that the table would sometimes rise up so high it would bring the members to their feet. And on more than one occasion, Philip would become incensed and trap members in the corner of the room. Philip was also apparently the cause of lights turning off and on by themselves and other strange anomalies. The Philip experiment worked so well, in fact, that the Owen group took him to the small screen, filming a seance in front of a live audience of 50 people, during which they witnessed the table levitate.
Was small screen just a fancy way of saying TV?
Yes, it is, Michael.
Okay,
Thank you.
because I was confused.
Iris Owen and Margaret Sparrow, both members of the group, wrote a book about the experiment called Conjuring Up Philip. And for all of you film buffs out there, you may want to start your Halloween horrors with the movie The Quiet Ones, which was based on the events. Yes, the Philip experiment succeeded far beyond the group's wildest expectations. However, in the end, only more questions remained, as they were never able to prove the how or the why behind Philip's manifestation. Was Philip a direct result of the group's collective subconscious? A manifestation of the group's unknown latent psychic abilities? Or maybe, just maybe, they conjured an actual entity that was more than happy to take on Philip's persona and latch onto his story? Either way, it makes one think twice about the idea that the spirits of our deceased loved ones somehow survive and are hanging around on the other side waiting to talk to us, still maintaining a part of their consciousness or individual personality. And should you ever decide to summon a spirit via conjuring, Ouija board, or seance, how could you ever trust just who it is you're speaking with? Whatever the case may be, the Philip phenomenon remains not only a groundbreaking experiment, but an important historical account of parapsychological research by a group of curious Canadians. And in the end, what was once only make-believe made believers out of those indeed.
That was amazing.
That's my evil laugh.
That was a good
Yeah,
laugh.
thank you.
Good story.
I
Yeah.
was really I gotta say, what a dang great voice you have.
Oh, thanks. Thank you very much.
Big takeaway.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
So
What
great
about-
to have it all fresh and all so close in the cans, you know?
What about Philip's voice?
Yes.
Who was what do you think of? Bullshit or believe it?
I mean, I think like I believe in the ability for a group of people to collectively trick themselves
yeah. Well, you know, they
and the power of that.
totally. Here's a picture of Philip that they drew.
Oh, okay.
Now you can actually go.
That guy is a hunk and a
You
half.
can actually
Oh my-
go to YouTube and witness this live camera thing they did in front of a studio audience, and I watched it myself. And you can see the table rise and move across the room. And it's
What?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's on YouTube. I highly recommend.
It's
look
on
it up.
YouTube.
Maybe we'll put up a show.
We can put a
link in
link.
the show
Yeah, we'll
notes.
put a
When
link.
did this happen?
This was in the 70s.
Okay.
And
1972.
yeah, 1972. And so this really happened, and they were pretty much confounded. And, because a lot of those people had the idea that, perhaps these, demonic possessions or poltergeist activity was often caused by the people themselves. And, if you ever watch some of these ghost hunting shows, what you'll find is that it's usually somebody having some sort of emotional trauma that is bringing about these manifestations. So their idea was to, well, hell, let's just create our own ghost and see if we can bring it to life. And they did. And it sort of confounds the idea of what an apparition is or what
Right.
poltergeist activity really
what's
is.
not to say, and you kind of brought this up, like, what's not to say another spirit stepped in because they used
Sure.
the conventional means. By conventional, of course, they're unconventional, but the conventional within the realm of this world, the conventional means to communicate with the spirit. Why wouldn't someone else just get on the line and be like, yeah, sure, I'll be your Philip if I can,
Sure.
fuck with you guys
Yeah,
and interact.
Absolutely. Further experiments with a different group were carried out in 1974. Now, the story used with these was a French-Canadian girl by the name of Lilith who went to France during World War II and became a member of the French resistance. She was, however, caught and executed as a spy. Now, the Lilith experiment saw similar results to the Philip one in just 5 weeks. Perhaps this was due to the fact that the Owens group were able to formulate shortcuts in methodology based on earlier experiments, and the new group was able to sit in with the Philip group on an individual basis. Of interesting note is that during a 1974 Christmas party held by the organization, members...
by that Christmas they were just like drunk with power.
Oh, yeah, they were lit,
They
for
were
sure.
lit, and also just so high on themselves.
Drunk with power. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. At a Christmas party held by both members, the Philip and Lilith groups got together and in jest called out, "Is anybody there?" They received a knock in response. And in further jest, they asked, "Are you Father Christmas?" Reportedly, a long conversation with Santa Claus ensued. According to the Owens, this last episode illustrates the wonderful childlike approach taken to the phenomena and the fact that in these situations you get what you expect.
Well, we've brought this up in the past when we've sort of skimmed around the concept of a tulpa or a thought form, which it comes from, I think, Tibetan Buddhism.
Yeah.
I think I wrongly suggested it was like an old Jewish thing or Hebrew thing, but it's
Right.
Tibetan Buddhism, I believe.
Well, it's the idea
And it's-
that an object can be imbued with spiritual power.
or that you create something from nothing.
Or you can
by-
create, yeah.
We got to do a whole episode about tulpas.
Yeah.
We'll do that, but
Yeah.
not during this Halloween
Yeah,
month.
totally.
What do you think about all this? I mean, it's kinda weird.
it's pretty weird.
How many of those in the Owens group just ended up swapping spouses? Let's be honest.
Sounds like a lot of funky stuff was happening in the 70s. You know
It's
what I'm
like week
saying?
9, and they're like, I want to try something different. Yes, Iris? Everybody put their key in this cup.
You kiss my husband, and I'll kiss your husband.
Who's under the table? Sorry.
Aren't you a prude, Philip?
I'm not knocking with my fists.
Yeah, but it's crazy to think that they got such a positive affirmation of what they set out to create.
You know what I say? Never trust a Canadian.
Oh,
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
it is America's hat.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is amazing. Jess, any final thoughts on Philip the Imaginary Ghost?
Oh my gosh. I knew that Diddington had to be the true part because that just sounded like every test you had to take on Wuthering Heights. You're like, I can't remember any of these names. They're all the same. So
Everyone's throwing themselves off cliffs.
and it's the mark of a good lie or fabrication to keep a little bit of truth in it. And I love that they chose Diddington Manor because hell yeah, that sounds like something in Devonshire or something.
Indeed.
Indeed, it was.
That's my hot take.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing the show,
Thanks
Jess.
for having me.
Where can people find Off Book and find you?
Yeah, listen off book anywhere podcasts are listenable. And I'm at Jess McKenna on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but let's be honest, it's not a great follow.
It's just not fun.
It's not fun. I'm off of it. Basically, all I do is like retweet what my podcast episode is. So it's a real like.
I'm too scared
boring.
to retweet anything.
Yeah.
I just now like things.
Yeah, it's real doldrums over there. So I would suggest like if you want any sort of meaningful content, just go for Instagram.
Yeah.
Jess McKenna.
Yeah. Great. That's amazing. Thank you for doing the show.
Yeah.
Thank you to Ryan for engineering us here at Campfire.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
You can listen to our podcast every week at Campfire. We are campfire.media. Yes, that's right.
Bingo.
I can't remember the name of our own Instagram and Twitter. I think it's Bigfoot Collectors Club and Bigfoot_C Club on Twitter. Bryce, anything coming up?
No,
You wanna-
yeah, got my project coming up. I'm looking to announce shortly. Hang in there. I know you've all been waiting so
I'm
patiently.
hearing rumors of November.
Yeah, it will come out in November.
It might have news of it, might have broken by the time you're listening to this episode.
It's possible,
In
but
which
you will
case,
hear it here first
you will
from
have,
me.
You will have known by now.
Yes,
That's all we're
and
saying.
if you've enjoyed the podcast, please rate and review us. It does help tremendously.
Go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, review.
Do it.
And check out our merch over at tpublic.com.
Yeah, and you and I have the same birthday, Jess.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
April 18th.
Oh my gosh.
Synchronicity.
And Conan O'Brien.
Oh, yeah, and Conan O'Brien.
And Paul Revere's Ride.
Yeah, and James Woods.
Whoa. I share birthday with Carrie
Ryan
Fisher.
was like, and James Woods. You did better with the first three.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Until next week, I remain Michael McMillan for Bryce Johnson, Riley Bray. Thanks again to Jess McKenna. Definitely go. I did want to say, if you want to just laugh and then just have a sustained smile while you're listening to a podcast, definitely check out Off Book, the Improvised Musical Podcast. Until next week, you know what to do, ladies and gentlemen.
Go get regressed.
And good night.
Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray. Our theme song is Come Alone by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. If you like the show, please rate and review us on iTunes. It really helps get the podcast to more listeners. To support the show, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club and unlock multiple reward episodes every month.